Well, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. Here I am yammering again for another chatty video. I just did one. But this is actually inspired by Wee Bob. He just posted another community question, something that we have been sorely lacking in for the longest time. And he posed a question out there and I thought, ooh, I want to do another one of these. This is great. This actually harkens back to Novabug's old Friday foursome. This is a 4-question thing. And I really like it, and it took a while for me to figure out my answers. So here we go. Wee Bob would like to know, what are your 4 favorite intros to video games? And sure, in this day and age, we've got a lot of modern games that have got like huge introductions to them and all that kind of stuff. So he was leaning on something a little older, PS2 or early PC and before. And I have 4, quite different from each other. I might even asterisk by having 1/5 one in there, because I'm going to start weirdly opposite to how I normally do these. I'm going to start with my number 1 choice, and that is the intro to Cobra Command in the arcade. I have this game on my main machine. I also have the PlayStation 1 version, which is called Thunderstorm. And that was out in Japan, and you're just flying a helicopter. It's a full motion video, basically. As long as you line up your shots with the little boxes, you continue in the cartoon. I can't play the intro, though, because it's possibly copyright, so I'm just showing the video footage of it. I will maybe keep the sound low so that I'm heard over it, but it's got a rockin' theme, and every time I heard it, I was like, oh, Cobra Command, I love that game. It's actually one of my favorite games of all time. I did a video about what is my favorite game, and back in the day, when, you know, your home console couldn't deliver a great experience, the arcades were where video games were at. Cobra Command was my favorite game, because I could put a quarter in there, and it lasts about 20 minutes, and I just, the music, especially... The intro is great. You got a nice Japanese anime style. The music is rockin'. It's full of adventure. I'm ready to go. And even the outro, sort of when you die music, has got like a nice... It reminds me of a lot of stuff. So my number 1 choice from one of my number 1 games is from Cobra Command. I love the intro to that. And that's... The other games that I've got on my list are from early PC era, which makes sense because that's really where intros played a better part. But I do want to have a little honorary mention of another arcade game that really, it's very short. It's the only intro I can actually play on this video without worrying about copyright. And that's weirdly Galaxian. I love this intro. I love how this bit goes. Because to me, that is the launching of a game. If I hear that anywhere, I'm instantly teleported back to the arcades, and it's just like, oh man, yeah, that little intro from Galaxian. But because that's so short, I'm not really going to include that. That's like 10 seconds, not even. And so, but it was almost on my list. I thought, since I've got Cobra Command, an arcade game, what other arcade games are there? And yeah, there's Pac-Man and stuff, but I thought Galaxian almost makes the cut, but not quite. My number 2 and my number 3 choices, though, really fought head-to-head for what is the better of the two. And I gotta give the very, very slight lead to the intro to StarCraft Brood Wars. The actual beginning of the game has the intro, a little animated. Blizzard back in the day used to make these amazing animated intros, and as you get to different parts of the adventure, little cutscenes and cinematics. And the beginning of Brood War is so amazing to me. You are seeing actual characters, actual units from the game. The big, at the end of it, there's this big spaceship that flies over the head of our soldiers. It's the spaceship used in the game. But it's the interaction between the 2 commanders. You know, one of them's sitting there looking up, and he's like, so... Admiral, why have you brought me here for my duties? And the other fellow's like, your vodka can wait, my good Alexei. It's this hilariously cheesy but somber and grim conversation. And there are times I'll find myself in the middle of conversation or waiting for something to happen, and I'll just look at it, and my instant reaction is "so," and I will instantly follow it up with, "Why have you brought me here from my duties?" And it's Brood War. It's the intro to Brood War. It constantly plays through in my head. I love this intro. That's got to be my number 2. Absolutely fantastic. Number 3, just about up there with Brood War. The difference is that this one is more of like a music video, and it's incredible. I actually have the music on my little music player. It's Thief, The Dark Project. I think the game was it was my Assassin's Creed before Assassin's Creed existed. Thief was really cool, very visceral, very like dark, hide in the shadows. It was one of the first sneaking games. So for those who are not thrilled about stealth mechanics, you're not going to like the Thief series. But back then, that was the first game-ish, except for maybe Metal Slug. It was the first series that really hit it home for me because I was a PC gamer back then. Love Thief. And this intro is just, it captures the imagination of the sort of steampunk world that exists in, and it's got a great mechanical element to it. And the intro with the phrases and stuff, fantastic stuff. I love the intro to Thief. This is from the Gold Edition. Just love the game. Love again, like Blizzard with StarCraft, the intersecting cinematics between levels is on par with that intro. Just fantastic stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Now, for my 4th choice, I'm going to go a little weird, obscure here. I wouldn't really say this is my favorite, but it was a hilarious moment for me in gaming back in the 90s. There's a game called Independence War. It's, you're flying a spaceship, think Wing Commander or the Colony War series. Nothing. This one's it's a bigger, more sluggish ship, so think of it like, like the Serenity out of Firefly, that type of ship that you're moving around. And it's not a great game, but what I always remember is it was back then the first game to have a ridiculously long intro on it. Like the intro, I'm not going to play it because it would take up more than this video's length, but it's a 15-minute long cinematic in a time before, Hideo Kojima was doing that regularly. With what does Metal Slug 4 start with? About 20 minutes worth of video or intro before you actually start to play the game. And Lord knows when I played Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR, it was about a half-hour intro before the game actually started. I'm like, are you kidding me? But those are more modern versions. Independence War did it first, and so I gotta salute them for the balls to yeah, we're gonna make a 15-minute long intro before you even start the game. And I thought, okay, that's pretty gutsy. I think it's also called iWar in other territories. So Independence War / iWar, not a great game, but an intro that I think deserves at least a place in my list because that took some guts. So there we go, Weebop. Just a quick one with my favorite 4 intros. You got Cobra Command, also known as Thunderstorm. Brood Wars, StarCraft, the add-on. Thief, the Metal Age, and Independence War. That 15-minute long intro that took some guts. All right, well, there we go. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.